Our next task will be working with creating a landing page. There are 3 tasks here, and our current task will be the header. In this header, we want to see a navigation items up above. We're going to follow the Figma designs. These navigations will point to certain pages, and then we'll need to adjust the designs of the button. Currently, this is what our application looks like with the logo and a generic linked button. We want to go with these designs. I see 3 different states here. We have a desktop, mobile, and then mobile navigation open. And I see that our navigation links with the button are 1 unit, then with the logo and open and close button are another unit. So they're going to have to work in unison with each other. Let's look at our code. It's in pages, index, and we have our header here. So we will separate this out to its own feature folder where we'll contain all the different landing page elements most likely. So what we'll do is we'll get to work on that. We'll make those changes one commit at a time and looking at those changes as we do. All right, let's get to work. All right, so let's look at what we did here. So in this header, we added the navigation links and styled them. Then we converted the A tag to a pseudo link button. And before recording this, I went ahead and just wrote down all the CSS properties and values to speed the process along. So let's look at the HTML. So we have our header here. Let's look at our setup. So I'm assuming that we're going to be making more components of the landing page. So I created its own folder in relationship to the issues. So it has a component subfolder where it houses the header. In this header, I've added a nav element with an unordered list that maps over the nav links and puts that link inside of a list element. The nav links are part of an array of objects with the path added to the config. So there they are, home, products, pricing, and documentations. Those were added. And then here's that updated link element. For the styling, I went with a flex values that reset and add. So when it gets to the desktop width size, it will change to a row. I might want to change this to a tablet. I'll see how that works. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep it at desktop. Same with the links and reset some of the properties to align with the way we'd like to see the links, and then added what we needed, the color and the font. Same with the dashboard button. We did some resets, and then we added the appropriate properties and their values. So next up, what we want to do is we want to add the menu buttons and then also work on creating a sidebar navigation, open and close with with a modal here. So I think what we'll do next is we'll just work on the mobile header, come back and check that out. Then we'll go to work on the sidebar navigation and the modal, and then come back and look at that. All right, so let's get to work. All right, so let's work on that menu button. Let's get down here to the icons, and we will create the close and the menu. All right, so we created our icons. Let's work on creating that button. Now that button works with the state, so if the mobile menu is open, we'll show it, otherwise we'll hide it. So let's create that state and then that button. We want to have the links and the dashboard button together as one unit, so let's push this up here. And now work on our button. All right, so the basic structure is here. We have a button, and if that mobile menu is open, then we'll show the close. Otherwise, we'll show the menu. Let's create the click event that will operate that. So we will set the mobile menu state to the antithesis of what it is, and we want to show or hide that. So let's create the CSS that will do that for us. And let's then also set up the CSS for the navigation. So the menu button default will show, but on the desktop it will be hidden. When we are in mobile view, we want to have it fixed, and we want it to be just underneath the header. And then we'll have a column, we'll have some justify content. All right, so we have our menu button. It is opening and closing it. We'll get this fixed in just a second, but to explain it, so mobile view is default, and it's going to be that fixed position that's going to be right underneath the header on the left-hand side. And the padding should fit with the header. We have a flex display of column, and the initial state is going to be off the view. And then if mobile menu state is true, then we're going to push it at the 0 pixel point. And then when we get into that desktop pixel point, we'll reset everything and make the element relative to the default position. So we're just going to put it right back where it should be and then reset all these. Now for making sure this is center, this is the linked list. And so if it is the linked list, then push there. There we go. All right. So let me make that change. All right. All right. There we go. Now for the overlay. So we'll put it here underneath the image. All right, so here's the structure for the menu overlay. Key thing here is that we will position it to cover the whole page, making sure that it's underneath the image. We'll also look to changing its opacity, and then also we will make sure that it's not showing in the desktop. All right, so for the menu overlay in the desktop, we will not want to show it. The default position is going to be a fixed placement covering the entire screen. It will be underneath the header, push off to the side with zero opacity. Probably could just put 100%. Probably doesn't matter, but either way, and then we'll transition in both the opacity and the placement. When that menu button is open, then we'll give it an opacity and push it in from the side. And there you go. There you have it. Navigation that is also a sidebar menu.